Hi there. I'm Marc Garfinkel, a proud card-carrying member of the Rotary Club of Centennial. And we're here in the Rotary Test Kitchen. All right, there's no test kitchen, but we're here, and it's Peach Day. And if you're getting this video, chances are you've purchased some peaches from our club. And first of all, I want to thank you very much for doing that, because the money that goes from this project will cover many different types of projects throughout the community and throughout the world. One such project is called Water Rico. In Water Rico, we build water filters for the victims of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. And if you want to learn more about Water Rico, you can go to waterrico.com. But enough about the shameless plugs. Today we're going to talk about peaches and the many ways we can work with peaches. Now the first thing is you probably got a box that looks like this. This is an 18-pound box, and the problem might occur that the peaches get riper before you can eat them. It's kind of a race against time. So the first thing I want to do is teach you how to properly freeze peaches so they don't go bad. First of all, I don't know if you've had a chance to try these amazing peaches yet. These are from Palisades, Colorado, and when you open it, you get this waft of peach essence, which is just wonderful. And I'm going to take a bite right now. Oh my God, these are wonderful. It's dripping down my lips right now, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to do a beard shampoo or something. Oh, great. But the problem is that there's a lot of them. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to freeze them. And what I'm going to do is take a paring knife, and I'm going to make a crisscross cut. Now we got to be careful not to cut into the meat. You just want to cut the skin just like that. All right, I've cut all these already, and now I'm going to put them into a waiting pot of boiling water. So as you can see, I've already gotten a head start on peeling some of these. I'm going to just do a couple for you. And see how beautifully these come off without hardly any effort at all. There's one. And we have one more here. Just like that. And so some of you might ask, why do you peel them before you freeze them? And the answer is, the skin, when it gets frozen, also contracts. It also can cause some decoloration of the fruit, and we don't really want that. And also, the skin isn't very good once it's frozen. And now it's time to slice these, which we'll get to in just a moment. Now, it's really important to be careful here. You don't want to just dump them in. They'll splatter and perhaps burn you. So I'm taking half of them with this tool, and we're just kind of dropping them in, and then we're going to drop them in again. And then we set a timer for 60 seconds. This is a very quick technique. Okay, now, what's happening in there is there's a cellular change occurring where the cells of the skin are contracting, and that will cause them to curl backwards, making it easier to peel later on. Now, in the meantime, I had already prepared an ice bath, and as soon as the 1 minute is up, I'm going to use some kind of draining tool, and you'll be able to put it right into here, and it'll take just a couple of minutes to cool down. You don't want to really peel these while they're hot. You can burn yourself. I'm going to put a plate right there in anticipation of the peaches. Now this will not cook the peach, so don't be concerned with that. There's the timer. And I'm just going to, what we're trying to do now is just stop the cooking process. We don't want it to cook the fruit, just get the skin nice and loose. And you can already see the skin starting to peel off of this one. It's a very easy technique, takes no time to do, and we'll peel them in just a moment. So now it's time to slice the peaches, and as you can see, I have 2 baking sheets prepared. I am doing 10 peaches. I, in this case, used a seal pad, which is a non-stick silicone pad. You can also use wax paper to do this. Peaches without their skin on are very slick. So there's a safety tip here. I would recommend using a paper towel or perhaps a kitchen towel. It can be held like this. The blade is only aimed towards the pit, and we're just slicing through, getting some wedges. Now the size of these wedges, that's up to you, depending on what kind of recipe you're going to be using. We're going to show you 2 different ways to use frozen peaches in just a moment. And so once you slice them, you just kind of separate them and just kind of fall away from the pit, just like this. It's really not a big deal. Okay, and then we're going to just lay these on the wax paper. Without the use of a seal pad or wax paper, or even they have the tin foil that's non-stick, you're going to have a really difficult time removing the frozen peaches from the pan. Now, the question here would be, why not just freeze them all in a plastic bag? And the problem with that is once you do that, because these are so wet, you'll never be able to separate them. So the idea here is separate them, freeze them, and then we'll put them into a plastic bag. There we go. This is a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut it in half. Always aim that blade away from your fingers, please. And now, let's put them in the freezer. And we'll be right back. So welcome back. We have put the peaches in the freezer for about 5 hours. And you can see with this silicone pad, it comes off relatively easy, doesn't stick to the surface. And what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 different recipes with the frozen peaches. The first recipe, we're going to basically get our party started with a frozen peach margarita. So, I've measured everything out with the exception of some sugar. Let me get that. Here we are. And we have a nice blender here. And I prefer the kind of blender that has this tamper in it because this is a lot of frozen fruit, and it just seems to make it blend really well. The margarita is going to start with some citrus juice. You can get a margarita mix, and this is 2 ounces. So a shot glass is 2 ounces if you need any help with measuring stuff. Then we go to the triple sec. This is an alcoholic liquid that goes into most margaritas. And also I'm going to go with 2 ounces. And then it's time to decide how happy we're going to be today. Now, this is the tequila. The recipe normally calls for 2 ounces, but I'm going to just put 1 in because I'm operating heavy machinery here. So we'll just go with 1. That goes right in, followed by ice cubes. And to make it simple, just 12 ice cubes. And then our wonderful peaches. And then a tablespoon of sugar. There we go. Now this is going to be loud. I'm going to just put it on for a little bit, and then we'll come back and see the finished product. And I like to start, when I'm doing this, I like to start low and work my way up. Welcome back. Now that we have our margarita in hand, we're going to create a peach salsa, and I'll be showing you 2 different ways, 2 of many ways you can use the salsa. Our mise en place here is chopped tomatoes. And by the way, at the end of the video, there'll be all the recipes, so you'll know the amounts. This is a abbreviated version of the recipe, so it's only about 1/3 of the recipe. We have chopped tomatoes. We have chopped peaches. This is a Vidalia onion. If you're wondering why I look so sad, I just cut these up. And we have jalapeno peppers. If heat is a problem, you can do without these, but they really add a nice dimension to the salsa. We also have cilantro, and of course, if this is a problem also, you can omit that. I have a red pepper, and I decided not to cut the entire jalapeno because I wanted to show you a quick tip. When I scoop out the jalapeno, I will use a grapefruit spoon. You can see these spoons have little ridges, little teeth on the end, and with that you can just come on in and it kind of just takes it out very quickly. And then we just use our knuckle to guide a very sharp knife and turn it, and we have our diced jalapeno. And then there's a nice easy way to cut a red pepper. You just cut it, and then cut through it. That, and you are done. I like to rinse it to get all the seeds out. Now, in regards to the pepper, I like to cut it in half so I can handle it better. And then I julienne the pepper. Turn it and get a nice small dice. And you can rough chop it after that. All right. So let's get the vegetables into the bowl. First go the tomatoes, then the peaches. Now I left the peach skin on. I kind of like the color of it. And the onions go in, and the peppers. Now, I need a little bit more room. I'm going to use a bigger bowl. Here we go. Now we're going to season it. I'm going to use some cilantro, some lime juice, and this is to taste. So if it's not enough acid in there for you, and this is kosher salt, we're just going to mix this up a bit. And always, always, always taste. The balance of sweetness from the peaches really lends a lot to this salsa. We don't often get fruit into the salsa, and it's just wonderful. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you a couple of ways we can use this salsa. So now we have this peach salsa. It's wonderful. It has so many different dimensions to it. I'm going to give you two different ways to use it. I just pan-fried a tortilla. So I'm going to put that on a plate. And I also grilled a chicken breast. I let it rest for a few minutes. And now I'm going to slice this on a bias. This just means at an angle. Right, and we'll put a few pieces of chicken breast on there. Now, I happen to have chicken breast. Chicken thighs is usually my preference. It has more flavor to it. It doesn't dry out as quickly. And then we can just top this with some avocado. My preference with avocado is just soft. Not really soft, but just starting to get soft is what I prefer. And the other thing about the chicken is I only flavored it with salt and pepper because this is going to give me all the flavor I'm going to ever need. And you know what? Why not some cheese? Here's some wonderful cheese. You know what? Maybe a little bit more. Good. And I'm going to take a little bit of this. And we have our first dish with the salsa, and we'll taste that in a little bit. The next thing I did was recently I made spanakopita, which is a Greek pastry pie. Let me take that out. And you can see how crisp and nice this spanakopita is. Now this is filled with feta cheese, spinach, sauteed onions, and then I used 3 Greek herbs, oregano, dill, and mint. Now, normally this would be great just by itself, but I wanted to give it a little bit more of a dimension, so I'm going to top it with a little bit of this new salsa we just created. And we have now the 2 dishes. So in just a moment, I'm going to show you a dessert. We'll be right back. So now we have a aperitif. We have our margarita. We have 2 dishes we're serving with the salsa. It's time for dessert, and this is the perfect dessert if it's late at night or towards the evening and you have a sweet tooth and you don't want to be too bad. This is a perfect dessert. It's only 3 ingredients. It takes less than 5 minutes to make. And one thing I should tell you is that when I freeze the peaches, I put them in bags that are labeled, the date, and also how much is in here. And because this particular recipe goes by weight, I need a pound of peaches. I put them in 1 pound portions. So let's carry on with this. First, the liquids go in. I have 1/2 cup of coconut milk. Now, so here's the thing. You want to make this recipe, but coconut milk comes in a 15-ounce can, and you only need a 1/2 cup. What I do is I freeze them. There's no problem with freezing coconut milk, and I freeze them in 1/2 cup little bags like this, and it works great. I just defrosted this particular coconut milk, and now I don't have to throw away the rest of the can. The next thing is honey. So I'm going to so that was a half cup of coconut milk. Now I'm putting a quarter cup of honey in. There we go. All right, very good. So now goes in the peaches, a pound of frozen peaches. Now, when it's not peach season and you've used up all your frozen peaches, I know it's a sad, sad time of the year. Frozen mangoes was the original recipe for this. It just works beautifully. And wait till you see the texture of this dessert. It comes out just like store-bought sorbet. Again, this usually comes in handy whenever I'm using frozen food in my blender. I put it on the lowest power. This goes a little. I so want to lick this, but since I'm on video, I'll do it the proper way. Look at that texture. Oh my. Oh, is that perfect? And the true essence of peach comes right out, and it's so refreshing. So there you have it. 4 different ways to eat peaches. Frozen margarita, panacopita with salsa, a chicken taco with salsa, and a wonderful peach sorbet. Well, thanks again for supporting the Rotary Club of Centennial. We really appreciate it, and the money's going to go to some wonderful causes. And we'll see you next year with perhaps some more new recipes.